For the first 6 years of my adult life, I did everything right. I went to school, I got the degree, I landed the job. Every month, that paycheck hit my account. And every month, somehow, I was still broke. Not broke like, I need to borrow money broke. Broke like, where did it all go broke? I'd stare at my bank statement trying to reverse engineer my own life. Rent, bills, food, a few things I probably didn't need. And then, nothing. Zero. Start again next month. I thought I just needed a raise. So I worked harder. I got promoted. The number on my paycheck got bigger. And you know what also got bigger? My rent, my lifestyle, my subscriptions, my I deserve this purchases. The raise didn't fix anything. It just moved the ceiling up. I was running faster on the same treadmill. At 27, I had a decent salary and literally nothing to show for it. No investments, no assets, no safety net, just income. And the illusion that income meant I was okay. Then something shifted. I started studying the people around me who were actually building wealth, not just earning it. And what I found stopped me cold. The people winning financially weren't always out-earning me. Some of them made less than I did, but they understood something I didn't. Something nobody sat me down and explained. Something school definitely never taught. Your salary is designed to keep you comfortable, not to make you wealthy. Those are two completely different things. And until you understand the difference, you can do everything right. The degree, the promotion, the responsible life, and still end up with nothing to show for it at 45, 55, 65. Today, I want to show you exactly what changed for me. The specific shift in thinking that turned income into actual wealth. And more importantly, how you can skip the 6 years of spinning your wheels that I didn't. Because here's the truth, nobody says out loud. The salary was never the vehicle. It was just the starting material. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what to build with it. Here's a number that should bother you. 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Not people who are unemployed, not people who dropped out of school. People with jobs, people with salaries, people doing exactly what they were told to do. And still, one missed paycheck away from a crisis. And it's not just America. Across the UK, across Canada, across every economy built on the employment model, the story is the same. Work hard. Earn money. Spend it. Repeat. Die with just enough or not enough at all. So ask yourself honestly, when did you last check your net worth? Not your account balance, your net worth? Because those are two very different numbers. Your balance tells you what came in this month. Your net worth tells you whether any of it stayed. Most people never look at that second number. And that's not laziness. That's psychology. There's a concept called the ostrich effect. It's the very human tendency to avoid financial information that might be painful to face. So we don't check the investment account we haven't started. We don't calculate what we'll actually have at retirement. We keep our head in the sand because knowing feels worse than not knowing. But not knowing is exactly what's costing you. Because while you've been busy earning the salary or the bonus, the overtime, inflation has been quietly eating your purchasing power. The money sitting in your current account right now is worth less today than it was last year. You didn't lose it. You just held it still while everything around it moved. And here's what makes it worse. We were all handed the same broken script. Go to school. Get a job. Save a little. Retire at 65. Nobody in that script mentions assets. Nobody talks about ownership. Nobody explains the difference between money that works for you versus money you just work for. The wealthy didn't get wealthy by earning more. They got wealthy by understanding a rule that the salary system was never designed to teach you. And the devastating part? Most people figure this out too late. And they spend their entire prime earning years feeding a lifestyle instead of building a foundation. They hit 50 and realize the salary, as good as it was, left them with nothing that compounds, nothing that grows, nothing that pays them back while they sleep. Here's what nobody tells you. Income is not wealth. Income is just the raw material. And without the right system, it passes straight through your hands every single month without leaving anything behind. That ends today. Because the shift isn't complicated. It doesn't require you to earn more. It requires you to understand something the salary system was specifically not designed to teach you. And that's exactly what we're getting into next. Let me ask you something. What is a salary, really? Most people would say it's what you earn. It's your income. When it's the reward for your time and your skill. And that's true. But that definition is also exactly what keeps people stuck. Here's a better definition. One that changes everything once it clicks. A salary is a transaction. You give your time, they give you money, the transaction ends there. That's it. There's no continuation, no residual, no compounding. When you stop showing up, the money stops showing up. You are not building anything. You are exchanging. And there is nothing wrong with exchanging, unless you mistake the exchange for a wealth-building strategy, because it isn't one. It never was. Now contrast that with how wealth actually works. Wealth is not a transaction. Wealth is a system. It is money that has been converted into something that generates more money, without requiring your time in the same exchange. An asset. And an investment, a business, something that works while you sleep, while you eat, while you live your life. The salary gives you the raw material. The system turns that raw material into something permanent. Most people never build the system. They just keep doing the transaction and wondering why, after decades of earning, there's nothing left to show for it. Let me make this concrete with a simple analogy. Imagine two people. Call them David and Marcus. Same age, same city, same starting salary of $55,000 a year, about the median household income for a working American in their late 20s. David gets paid every month, and his money follows a very predictable path. Rent, car payment, groceries, subscriptions, dinners out, a vacation he put on a credit card, a few things he bought because he'd had a hard week, and by the end of the month, gone. David tells himself he'll start investing when things settle down. He's been saying that for 4 years. Things never settle down. They just get more expensive. Marcus earns the exact same $55,000, same rent, same bills, same city. But Marcus made one structural decision early on. Before any bill is paid, before any lifestyle expense is touched, $550 per month, exactly 12% of his take-home, moves automatically into a Roth IRA invested in an S&P 500 index fund. He built his entire life around what was left, not extravagantly, but comfortably. He drives a used car. He cooks most nights. He doesn't feel deprived. He just made a decision about what came first. Now fast forward 20 years. David has a slightly bigger salary, maybe $75,000 now, a decent apartment, and approximately $12,000 in a savings account he's dipped into 3 times. He's one layoff away from crisis. He's starting to panic quietly about retirement. Marcus? Marcus's $550 per month, compounded at 10% annually over 20 years, has grown to approximately $378,000. And it's still growing, every single day, without him doing anything additional. His portfolio now generates more in passive returns annually than some people earn in months. Same starting salary, same city, same opportunities, completely different outcome. The difference was never the income, it was the system. Now here's the cultural contrast that makes this impossible to ignore. In Japan, there is a philosophy called Kaizen, the practice of continuous, incremental improvement. Small steps, applied consistently over time, compounding into extraordinary results. And the Japanese don't chase windfalls. They don't wait for the big salary jump, or the market tip, or the lucky break. They build, quietly, systematically, every single day. And here's what's remarkable. Japan consistently ranks among the highest in the world for millionaires per capita. But you would never know it walking down a Japanese street. No performance, no luxury signaling, no Instagram flexing, just quiet, disciplined, decades-long accumulation. Now look at the average American household. The median American earns more than the vast majority of the world. By global standards, an American on $50,000 a year is wealthy. And yet, 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Not because they don't earn enough, because the cultural script they've been handed points every dollar toward consumption, toward appearance, ease toward the transaction, and away from the system. The Kaizen mindset applied to personal finance doesn't mean doing something dramatic or uncomfortable. It means choosing every single month to convert a small portion of your income into an asset before lifestyle consumes it. That's it. Consistent, automated, unsexy, extraordinarily powerful over time. The gap between the average American's income and the average American's wealth is not a math problem. It is a mindset problem. And mindset problems have mindset solutions. So here's the equation most people never see. It's almost frustratingly simple once it lands. Wealth equals assets minus liabilities plus time. That's it. Not income, not job title, not the size of the paycheck. Assets are things that put money into your pocket. Index funds, real estate, a business, dividend stocks, intellectual property. Liabilities are things that take money out, high interest debt, depreciating purchases, lifestyle inflation that outpaces income growth. Time is the multiplier. The longer your assets compound uninterrupted, the more dramatic the back-end growth becomes. This is why a 25-year-old investing $200 a month will retire with more money than a 40-year-old investing $800 a month, starting 15 years later. The math is not even close. The 25-year-old wins by over $200,000 on a fraction of the monthly contribution. But, and this is the part the salary system was never designed to teach you, you cannot build this equation if every dollar of income flows straight into lifestyle before assets ever see it. The decision has to be deliberate. It has to be structural. And it has to happen before lifestyle gets its cut. The wealthy are not smarter than you. They are not luckier than you, at least not most of them. They simply understood this equation earlier. They stopped treating their salary as the destination and started treating it as the fuel. Fuel for what? For the actual vehicle. And the specific, actionable rules for building that vehicle, starting with whatever your salary is right now, are exactly what we're getting into next. So here's the framework. There are 5 rules. 5 specific shifts that separate people who build wealth from people who simply earn it their whole lives and wonder where it all went. These are not theories cooked up in a classroom. These are patterns pulled directly from studying how ordinary Americans, not celebrities, not trust fund recipients, and not lottery winners, built extraordinary financial lives on completely average incomes. Let's get into it. Rule 1, pay yourself first. Before lifestyle gets its cut, every personal finance book eventually says this. Most people nod, agree, and do nothing. So let's make it real. Because the mechanics of how you do this matter just as much as the decision to do it. Here's what happens to most Americans the moment their paycheck lands. The brain immediately begins allocating. Rent, car payment, groceries, Netflix, that Amazon purchase they forgot was coming, the birthday dinner, the I've had a hard week splurge. By the time they think about saving or investing, there is genuinely nothing left. Not because they're irresponsible, because lifestyle always expands to consume whatever income is available. Economists call this lifestyle creep, and it is the single most effective wealth killer in existence. It doesn't need a market crash. It doesn't need a terrible decision. It just needs you to spend first and save last, which is exactly what the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle is built on. The fix is mechanical, not motivational. The moment your paycheck hits, before rent, before groceries, before anything, a fixed percentage moves automatically into an investment or savings vehicle. Not what's left over. Not whatever I can manage this month. A fixed number, automated, non-negotiable. The percentage research consistently points to as the minimum threshold for real wealth building, 20%. 10% will keep you afloat. 20% begins to build something that actually compounds into freedom. If your take-home pay is $4,000 a month, that's $800 moved before lifestyle touches a single dollar. You build your life on the remaining $3,200. It feels tight at first. Within 3 months, you won't notice. Within 3 years, you'll have an asset column that changes how you see your entire financial life. Set it up so it happens without your involvement. Because willpower is a depleting resource. Systems are not. Rule 2, convert income into assets. As fast as possible, but here's where it gets interesting. Saving alone does not build wealth. A savings account earning 2% interest while inflation runs at 4% is not saving. It is a slow, polite, socially acceptable form of losing. Your money is sitting still while everything around it gets more expensive. The number in your account stays the same. The power of that number shrinks every single year. The goal is not to accumulate cash. The goal is to convert cash into assets, things that appreciate in value, generate income, or ideally both. The most accessible asset class for most Americans is the stock market, specifically broad index funds. The S&P 500, over any 20-year rolling period in recorded history, has never delivered a negative return. The average annual return sits at approximately 10.5% before inflation. That is not a guarantee of future performance, but it is a pattern so historically consistent that Warren Buffett himself has publicly and repeatedly stated that a low-cost S&P 500 index fund is the single best investment vehicle available to ordinary Americans. Now let's put real numbers to this so it stops being abstract. An American who invests $300 per month starting at age 25 at a 10% annual return will have approximately $986,000 by age 55, just under $1 million on $300 a month. That same person, starting at 35 instead of 25, they end up with roughly $339,000. Same $300 per month, same 10% return. A 10-year delay cost them $647,000. That is not a rounding error. That is the entire difference between financial freedom and financial anxiety at retirement age. And the only variable was when they started. This is why Rule 2 is urgent. Not someday, not when the market feels safer, not when the salary gets bigger. Now, with whatever you have. Rule 3, kill your liabilities before they kill your wealth. Now, this next one is the one most people miss, and it is costing them more than they realize. You cannot build an asset column while high-interest debt is draining it from the other side. This is the financial equivalent of filling a bathtub with the drain wide open. It does not matter how fast the tap runs. You will never fill the tub. Here are the actual numbers. The average American credit card carries an interest rate between 20% and 29% annually. The average annual return of the S&P 500 is 10.5%. That means for every dollar trapped in credit card debt, you are losing more than any investment can earn you. You are mathematically going backwards, even if your portfolio is growing. So the sequence matters enormously. Step 1, eliminate all high-interest debt aggressively. Not minimum payments. Minimum payments are designed by lenders to keep you paying interest for as long as possible. Overpay. Attack the highest interest rate first. Be relentless. Step 2. Build a 3 to 6 month emergency fund in a high-yield savings account. This is your financial firewall. Without it, every unexpected car repair, medical bill, or job disruption sends you straight back into debt, undoing everything you've built. Step 3. Only after steps 1 and 2 are handled, begin converting income into assets with the full, uninterrupted power of your capital working in one direction. Skipping steps 1 and 2 to start investing feels productive. The math says otherwise. Clear the drain first, then fill the tub. Rule 4. Build multiple income streams. The salary is stream 1. But here's where it gets really interesting. Studies consistently show that the majority of millionaires maintain 3 or more income streams simultaneously. Not because they're superhuman or uniquely gifted, because they understood early that a single income source, no matter how reliable it feels, is fragile. One layoff, one health crisis, one industry disrupted by technology. Gone. The salary is stream 1. It is the foundation. But the foundation is not the house. Stream 2 might be dividends from a growing index fund portfolio, starting small, compounding over time. Stream 3, a side skill monetized on weekends, consulting, freelancing, coaching, creating. Stream 4, a digital product, a course, a template, an ebook that generates sales while you sleep. Stream 5, eventually, rental income from a property purchased with the capital you've been building. Here's what this looks like in real dollar terms. A freelance skill monetized at just $500 extra per month, invested consistently at 10% annual returns over 20 years, produces an additional $343,000. That is one stream. One skill. 2 hours on a weekend. You do not build 7 streams overnight. You build one, stabilize it, prove it works, then build the next. The compounding effect of multiple income streams is not just financial, it is psychological. The moment your salary becomes optional, everything about how you negotiate, how you work, and how you live fundamentally changes. Start with one additional stream. Build it to something real before chasing the next. Rule 5. Protect the wealth you build. Insurance, wills, and tax efficiency. This is the rule nobody wants to talk about because it is not exciting. There is no dopamine hit in writing a will or reviewing your insurance coverage, but this rule determines whether the wealth you build actually survives and reaches the life you are building it for. Uninsured medical crises are the #1 cause of personal bankruptcy in the United States. One hospitalization without adequate coverage can erase years of disciplined investing overnight. Dying without a will hands your assets to a legal process that may take months, cost thousands in probate fees, and distribute your wealth in ways you never intended. And building wealth in a tax-inefficient structure, that is quietly handing back a percentage of every gain, every single year, unnecessarily. The IRS offers powerful tax-advantaged vehicles. The 401k, the Roth IRA, the HSA, that allow your money to compound either tax-deferred or completely tax-free. Using a taxable brokerage account before maxing these out is leaving free money on the table every year, without exception. Wealthy people are obsessive about protection, not because they live in fear, but because they understand that building wealth is only half the equation. Keeping it is the other half. Review your insurance annually. Write a will, not eventually, today. Max your Roth IRA before investing in taxable accounts. These are not exciting moves. They are the moves that determine whether everything else you've built actually lasts. 5 rules, not complicated, not secret, not reserved for people who already have money. Pay yourself first. Convert income to assets. Eliminate debt. Build multiple streams. Protect what you build. Well, this is the framework. And now, let me show you what it actually looks like when a real person applies it, starting from zero. Let me give you a real example. I want to tell you about a woman I know. I'll call her Tara. Tara was 34 when we first spoke. Solid job, decent salary, by every external measure, doing fine. But she came to me with a question that I've heard in 100 different versions from 100 different people. I've been working for 11 years. Why do I have almost nothing saved? We sat down and mapped her finances. The salary was real. The expenses were real. But there was no system. Every month, income arrived, and lifestyle consumed it entirely. Not extravagantly, just consistently. Rent, food, transport, a few pleasures, some guilt, repeat. And she had a vague plan to start investing soon. Soon had been arriving for 11 years. We made one structural change. Before any bill was paid, 15% of her income moved automatically into a low-cost index fund. Non-negotiable, invisible. She never saw it hit her account before it was redirected. 18 months later, she called me. Not because she was rich, but because for the first time in her adult life, she had a growing number in an account that she hadn't touched. And it was growing without her doing anything. She said, "I didn't even miss the money. It just disappeared and became something else." That is the system working. That is what nobody shows you in school. Here's a story that'll hit home. You've heard of Peter Thiel, co-founder of PayPal. In the late 1990s, he contributed a small amount into a Roth IRA, a tax-advantaged retirement account in the US. The contribution was modest, but the asset he put inside that account was PayPal stock, valued at fractions of a penny at the time. By 2019, that Roth IRA was reportedly worth over $5 billion, tax-free. Now, you are not Peter Thiel. That specific opportunity doesn't repeat. But the principle underneath it does, every single day, in every market, at every income level. He did not put his windfall in a current account. He did not spend it on lifestyle. He converted income into an asset, inside a structure designed to protect and compound it. The vehicle mattered. The structure mattered. The decision to act, instead of wait, mattered most. And then there's me. The version of me at 27, staring at a bank statement, good salary, and nothing to show, didn't need more income. He needed exactly what I've just handed you, a framework, a system, a reason to stop treating the salary as the destination. The day I stopped asking, how do I earn more, and started asking, how do I make what I earn build something? Everything changed. Not overnight, but permanently. That shift is available to you right now, today, with whatever your salary is. The question is whether you're ready to stop doing the transaction and start building the system. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, and I want to address it directly. Because if I don't, these objections will sit in the back of your mind and quietly become the reason nothing changes after this video ends. This sounds good, but I don't earn enough to invest. I hear this more than any other objection. And I understand it. When rent is due and groceries are expensive and life has a way of consuming every dollar before the month ends, investing feels like a luxury reserved for people who earn more. But here's the arithmetic that dismantles that belief completely. If you invest just $100 per month, roughly $3.33 per day, less than most people spend on a daily coffee run, at a 10% annual return, starting at age 25, you will have approximately $217,000 by age 55. Wait until 35 to start that same $100 per month. You end up with roughly $76,000. The 10-year delay cost you $141,000 on the exact same monthly contribution. The amount is not the variable. Time is the variable. And the only way to weaponize time is to start now with whatever you have, rather than wait for a salary that feels big enough. There is no big enough. And there is only started and not started. I tried saving before. I always end up dipping into it. You might be thinking the problem is discipline. It isn't. The problem is accessibility. Money you can see and reach will be spent. This is not a character flaw. It is human psychology. We are wired for present reward over future gain. Hyperbolic discounting, psychologists call it, the tendency to overvalue what we can have now versus what we could have later. The solution is not to become more disciplined. The solution is to make the money structurally unreachable. Automate the transfer. Use an account you don't have a debit card for. Put it somewhere that requires friction to access. When spending requires effort, spending drops. This is not theory. It is behavioral economics applied practically. Remove the willpower requirement entirely. Build the friction in. The market is too risky right now. I'm not going to lie. This one is harder to dismiss because it feels responsible. It feels like caution. But consider this. The people who said the market is too risky in 2009, in 2016, in 2020, and waited for certainty that never came, missed some of the greatest bull runs in market history. There is never a perfect time. There is only time in the market versus time out of it. And historically, time in wins. Every decade, without exception, risk is real. But the risk of permanent inaction is the one nobody talks about, and it is far more expensive than any market correction. I don't know enough to start. You don't need to know everything. You need to know enough to take one step. Open a brokerage account, Fidelity, Schwab, or Vanguard will do. Set up an automatic monthly transfer into a broad index fund like the S&P 500. That's it. That is the entire first move. You learn the rest while your money is already working. Waiting until you feel ready is another version of the ostrich effect. The platforms are free. The information is everywhere. The barrier is not knowledge. It is the decision to begin. You now have the framework. The objections have answers. The only variable left is you. Now, before I get into the next part of this, I want to pause for just a second, because everything I've shared with you today, the 5 rules, the framework, the reframe, this is exactly the kind of content that Floxy Wealth Coach was built to deliver. And I want to be honest with you about why this channel exists. This was not created to sell you something, and it was not created to show off. It was created because there is a version of financial education that most Americans never get access to. Not in school, not from their employers, not from the mainstream financial media that profits more from your confusion than your clarity. This channel was built to give you that education, freely, consistently, at a level of depth and honesty you genuinely cannot find anywhere else. And Floxy Wealth Coach is the extension of that mission. If today's video gave you clarity, imagine having that clarity applied directly to your specific situation, your income, your debt, your timeline, your goals. That is exactly what Floxy Wealth Coach does. Real wealth building strategy, personalized, not generic advice recycled from a book written in 1997. The people inside right now are learning how to pay themselves first on any income, how to build their first asset, how to get completely out of consumer debt on a real American salary, and how to start building the multiple income streams we talked about, practically, step by step, without the overwhelm. Spots for personalized coaching are limited because real coaching requires real attention, and real attention cannot be scaled infinitely. If you are ready to stop watching wealth building from the outside and actually start doing it, the link is in the description. This channel gives you the map. Floxy Wealth Coach helps you walk it. Let me bring everything together for you. You came into this video believing, maybe without even realizing it, that the salary was the goal. That if you just earned enough, worked hard enough, or got the next promotion, landed the next raise, everything would eventually fall into place. And now you know the truth. The salary was never the destination. It was always just the starting material, the raw fuel, and without a system to convert that fuel into assets, into things that grow, compound, and pay you back, it passes through your hands every single month and leaves nothing permanent behind. But here's what I need you to hold on to after this video ends. You are not behind. You have not missed your window. The best financial decision you will ever make is not the one you made at 22. It is the one you make today, with whatever income you have, with whatever debt you're carrying, from wherever you are starting. The framework exists, the tools exist, the path is clear. The only question is whether you are ready to stop doing the transaction and start building the system. If this video gave you even one shift in how you see your money, I need you to do 3 things right now. First, subscribe. Not for me, for you. Because the content on this channel is built specifically for Americans who are done being financially average, done working decades and having nothing to show for it. If that is you, this is your channel. Hit subscribe so you never miss what's coming next. Second, drop a comment below. I want you to type the words "I am building" in the comments right now. Not "I will build someday," not "I'm thinking about it." I am building right now. Present tense. Because the moment you declare it, something shifts. You stop being a spectator of other people's financial success, and you become an active participant in your own. I read every single comment on this channel, everyone, and I want to see your name down there. Third, share this video with one person in your life who needs to hear this. One friend, one sibling, one coworker who is talented, hardworking, and still somehow broke at the end of every month. You might not be able to hand them a trust fund, but you can hand them a framework, and sometimes a framework is worth more. Now, if you are serious about what comes next, I need you to watch the video on your screen right now, because we went deep today on why the salary isn't enough. In the next video, we go deep on exactly how to build your first real asset from scratch, even if you have never invested a single dollar in your life, even if you have debt, even if you are starting with less than $100. I am going to walk you through the entire first move, step by step. No jargon, no overwhelm. Just the clearest, most actionable breakdown of how ordinary Americans begin building real wealth, starting from zero. That video is right there. It is the direct continuation of everything we covered today, and I will see you in it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for caring enough about your future to spend your time on this instead of something that gives you nothing back. That decision, the decision to keep learning, to keep building, to keep choosing growth, that decision is already separating you from the version of yourself that stays stuck. Keep going. I'll see you in the